my day.
Almost every day we see a new must-see moment from former vice president and man asking, if they're unlimited breadsticks, why can't I take some home in a Ziploc? Joe Biden. Well, an old video from 2017 went viral this weekend, and in the video, Biden tells a story from his youth when he was the only white lifeguard at a predominantly black Delaware pool. Make sense? Lifeguard is the vice president of the pool. Largely ceremonial, no one listens to you. And you get a whistle. Biden told the story at a ceremony which the city had when they named the pool after him in 2017. And it turned into a kind of a weird rambly story about a guy named Corn Pop.
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys. And I did, and back in those days, to show how things have changed, one of the things you had to use, if you used pomade in your hair, you had to wear a bathing cap. And so he was up on the board, wouldn't listen to me. I said, hey, Esther, you, off the board, or I'll come up and drag you off.
Okay. I got back in those days. I got pomade. I got 1940s film star Esther Williams. And I've got bathing cap. Okay. I've got old man bingo. So, Biden...
I am not a Stephen Colbert fan, but that guy actually had a really good skit last night when it coming to Joe Biden. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Redneck Invasion Nation Morning Show. You got me, yours truly. Sorry for the delay this morning. All the lightning and power messed with the cable last night and did some funky weirdo stuff with the computer, and yeah. So this morning's show is brought to you apart by Mill Pond Salon in downtown New London. It is also brought to you by Romaine Berg in Minneapolis. Also, KJ's Quick Stop in Candy, Ohio, and Iams Garage in Candy, Ohio, which tomorrow my truck goes in for an oil change. Yeah, so apparently Groping Joe Biden is out fighting boxes of cereal at the swimming pool. And yeah, so Boss Lady, good morning. Chad, good morning. Gus, good morning. Tanya, good morning. Justin, good morning. Chris, good morning. Rich, Jody, Ruger Wife, good morning. Penny LaRue, good morning. Good to see you. What is happening? Little Miss Airhorn, good morning. Angel, good morning. And I think I got everybody so far. And to those of you who are just lurking, I appreciate you tuning in. Clinton, good morning. Good to see you. Yeah, so Grandpa Joe Biden has made it a point to go out and fight boxes of cereal, I guess. He calls them bad dudes. Apparently him and Corn Pops have had a very bad running with each other over the years. Just saying. Vapor, good morning. Good to see you, brother. So, yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I don't ask me. Don't ask me. I mean, seriously, you're going to fight off a box of cereal. Come on. So, I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the news at all. The deal with California. California's just got, I don't know what it is. Like, if they could, like, seriously put a wall around a state and just call it a loony bin, California would qualify as that state. They have recently invoked a travel ban for California residents. They have invoked a travel ban for Iowa because Iowa refuses to support public funding or taxpayer-funded gender changes. So basically, if you're a guy and you decide you want to be a girl and grow boobs and get your nuts cut off, California thinks that taxpayers, mind you, the most bankrupt state in the union, thinks that taxpayers should fund these kinds of operations. And because Iowa says absolutely not, now there's a travel ban. So maybe we'll get lucky and people in California will quit migrating all over the country. Well, I'm thinking that Joe Biden and his box of cereal are gonna go to California, and they're just they're gonna teach California how to Dougie. That's what they're gonna do. I don't know. It's the dumbest thing I've ever. It was the dumbest article I ever read. You sit here and now, mind you, it was the federal courts in California that said that the travel bans that Donald Trump had imposed were unconstitutional, but then California's going to turn around and invoke their own travel bans? I mean, seriously, think about this. California has gone through and made it so, one, that if you help ICE in any way detain illegal immigrants or give them information, that you will be in a lot of trouble through the California penal system. They fought Donald Trump on the travel bans, filed numerous lawsuits against it, but yet then they turn around and invoke their own. I don't know why people let California... I mean, look... California outlawed plastic straws for paper straws. California outlawed plastic bags. I just don't know. Whatever happened to the deal? Whatever happened to the deal that California... I remember in school when they talked about global or global warming, it was called, and erosion. You know, they said that California was, by the time I was, by this age, California was supposed to be washed clean off the United States. What happened to that? All right, Justin, we'll catch you in a minute. I mean, what happened with that? I mean, apparently Lake Michigan was supposed to be dried up by now. But we're talking California. I mean, they're supposed to be... You ever read the warning labels on something? I wonder if there's one on here. Most things you read now have been known to cause cancer in California. Yeah, the Midwest is supposed to be desert. Lake Superior was supposed to be damn near dried up. Little Miss Earhart, thank you very much for the 10 subways.
Making them dirt road dollars, way out yonder, having them holler.
There you go. Take it from the guy who fishes Lake Michigan. 3 feet higher than normal. When I was in school, they swore up and down Lake Michigan would be dried up by now. It would just be a vast just dried up lake bed. I mean, seriously, that's what they swore up and down in school. I remember this being taught this. California was going to get washed off the face of the earth. Lake Michigan was going to be dried up, and that we would not be able to walk outside without having like biohazard suits on because the sun was just going to eat us alive because the ozone layer was going to be non-existent. People are I get criticized a lot by people who believe in the whole global warming conspiracy. They're like, well, don't you believe man can have an effect on climate? I do. Absolutely, I do. I've seen it in California. When I lived in California, I seen it. I seen it firsthand. I've seen what smog looks like. But there's a real simple solution for that. Boss lady, thank you very much.
We're making them dirt road dollars way out yonder, having them holler.
There's a very simple solution for that. It's called quit packing all these industrial plants in one small area. And finding different ways for them, either finding different places for them to go where, I don't know, how would you say it, where the environment can better handle the output of smoke and stuff that they're putting out. Now, mind you, California is also the state where independent contractors are no longer going to be able to run because, they think that's going to solve their employment crisis there. No, what would solve your employment crisis there is the fact that you quit overtaxing businesses. I mean, right now, the rate's like 1,000 businesses a day are moving to Texas. There's a guy I follow on YouTube, a comedian out of California, and he was walking down the street just showing desolate streets that Obama had come through, was it 8 years ago or so, and he'd done a speech on the street saying that he was going to fill these businesses, and not a single one of them have reopened. I mean, the businesses are empty. There's no signs on who to contact or anything. And the only thing that's open is a gas station, a couple of weed shops, and a tobacco shop. And these are in one of those areas where Obama said he was going to make it thrive. But the problem is California taxes are getting so high on businesses that they can't afford it. California has done some, like, did you know that most California prisons, they have to lease the property? I mean, I don't understand this. California's 3 strikes law has been one of the biggest failures ever. And they do upward enhancements and everything. I remember the lady who got life in prison for stealing baby formula and a loaf of bread. That was a huge story years ago. The lady who got a life sentence, that they were trying to give a life sentence over that because she couldn't afford to feed her kids. She wasn't a drug addict. She wasn't anything. She was working 2 jobs, couldn't afford anything, but didn't want her kids to starve. And her kids were living basically on macaroni, cheese, bread, and on baby formula. And then somebody had the audacity to say, well, she shouldn't have been having kids. Well, she was a married woman whose husband decided to take off with somebody else, and that's what had happened. I think what it came down to is the judge finally had pity on her, and brought social services in and said, why is it she can't get assistance? And he was pointing out all these other people, and that was the thing. And I just read another article about the way that they hand out public assistance in California. California is becoming this big problematic state, and it's at what point in time is the federal government, a state that seriously needs restructuring. 100% needs restructuring because it's doing more harm to the country than it is good. They have proven time and time again that they do not want to be a part of the United States, so make them their own country. Make them their own country, build a wall around them, and refuse to do business with them. And everybody says, oh, but what about like Google? And I bet you Google and all them places move. As soon as talked about, eliminating California from the Union, California won't have any other choice but to team up with Mexico and hope that they get some kind of trade embargo or something like that. But Silicon Valley, as we know it, will definitely, by all means, be changing locations. There was rumors years ago that people who were in Silicon Valley were going to be changing locations anyways, but we'll see. Oh, you're absolutely right about that, Vapor. I mean, they will seriously pack up and move because first thing California is going to do is go after them for more money. The richest corporations in the world, of course, they're going to go after it for more money. And they'll be like, yeah, no. Matter of fact, we're not even offering services to California. They'll have to pay for it. Every time people start talking about California and everything that they want to do, here's what I think about. Every time I think about this, here's what I think about every single time. Seriously, this is what I think about. All right? I think about that movie Escape from L.A. with Kurt Russell. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. The movie is called Escape from L.A. I mean, seriously, this is what I think about when I think of California. I've got friends who are lifelong second or third generation families in California, and they're just like, yeah, we don't stay here anymore. They moved. They're like, we can't do this. You're talking, those of you who've been to my house know that my house is not very big. But a house like mine in California literally goes for $4, $5, $6 million. They have the highest homeless population in the United States. I mean, seriously, you've got San Francisco, which is one of the richest cities in the United States, but it is also one of the dirtiest, it was rated the filthiest city in the United States. I didn't think anybody would beat Detroit for that. Speaking of Detroit, what the fuck is going on with GM and the United Auto Workers Union? Because all of a sudden now the economy's doing good, the United Auto Workers think that they need more money? Yeah, the average United Auto Workers union is union employee is it costs automakers $50 to $75 per person. $50 to $75 per person. You want to know why the cost of vehicles are so high? Yeah. That's why. United Auto Workers. And these idiots are like, well, Donald Trump's bringing them back here, so we're going to try and get more money. You're talking a union that gets better benefits than government employees. You're talking a union that has a better retirement program than government employees. Oh, yeah, they want more than $65 an hour. I'd tell them to get fucked. If I was GM right now, I'd put in a petition saying that we don't want to deal with the United Auto Workers Union because they're extorting us. I would go to the Supreme Court on it. I mean, look at Federal Cartridge in Anoka, Minnesota. You know, the owner pays them very well. They make a very little. I know lots of people that work there. They make very good money. And the owner simply said years ago, he said, I'll make it plain and simple. You walk a union in my doors, I'll close up shop and I'll go to another country. I pay you well. I give you good benefits. And GM is willing to do the same thing. All auto manufacturers are willing to do the same thing. When the United Auto Workers Union makes enough money to sponsor a NASCAR car, be the main sponsor out of a NASCAR car, yeah, they're making entirely too much money. You know, mind you, during the time of the recession, United Auto Workers refused to take a pay cut. United Auto Workers Union refused to do anything to help auto manufacturers stay in this country. So when they talk about, when they talked about the big automotive manufacturers moving out of this country, the union is the main reason they did it. I don't understand this. What makes them so goddamn special that they got to make that much money? Pretty soon it's going to end up like they got them over in Japan. I mean, you're going to have one guy running an entire line. They're just going to eliminate the need for employees. Like I told everybody at McDonald's years ago when people started petitioning for a higher minimum wage at McDonald's, a minimum base pay of like $15 an hour at McDonald's. McDonald's will do it. They'll comply. They're just going to eliminate employees. And they're already doing it. Subway's already doing it. They've got kiosks that you order your food from. They've got machines that are making the burgers and making the meals and things like that. Basically, they've got one or two people standing at the counter to serve food. They've got one person at the registers for people who don't understand the kiosks, but they're encouraging everybody to use kiosks. They've even got curbside delivery at McDonald's. I mean, seriously, think about this. So what they're going to do is they're going to force automotive companies to create better technology to build cars. And then they don't have to worry about paying them anything. They just got to keep the power on. And right now, with the way technology is going, you look at technology and they're like, $60 to $75 an hour. Or $50 to $75 an hour. What do you expect? Honestly, what do you expect a company to do? That's a ridiculous rate to have to pay somebody. And they want better health benefits, and they want better retirement, and better wages, and that kind of stuff. I mean, it's absolutely asinine. It's ridiculous. I remember the Big and Rich came out with a song. They're shutting your Big Kenny out of Big and Rich came out with a song of saying they're shutting Detroit down. And they made it look like you're supposed to feel sympathetic for the auto workers union and the guys who worked on the line. And I didn't. When I found out what they were getting paid and the fact that they refused to do anything to help the economy, fuck that. You're the ones who made Detroit a ghetto. So, hey guys, emergency bathroom break. Sorry, it happens. Got to do it. We'll be right back.
Some call me a sinner for the things I've done. Born with a heart of stone, fast with a gun. I'm here to get mine, then I'll leave this town. If you're standing in my way, I'll cut you down. You can't take
Welcome back. Oh yeah, it was a bad one. Definite turtle hit playing peekaboo. Turtle dog, yeah. Yeah. Redneck tech support. What is shaking? So, anyways, get back to the United Auto Workers Union. I think their strike is bullshit. I think that they make too much as it is. I think that, I had internet issues today. None right now. This morning I started about 12 to 15 minutes late. Thank you, Tanya.
We're making them dirt road dollars way out yonder, having them holler.
About 12:30 last night, my internet just quit working altogether. I had to reset all my equipment, tech. Had to reset computer, restart it. Yeah. Hey, question for you. Is Brian going to give us a ride to the airport from the house, or are we taking a Uber or something to the airport from the house? Or am because I really don't want to leave my truck down there. That's kind of where I'm at. As far as the United Auto Workers goes, I think the strike's bullshit. Perfect. I think that, in all honesty, I think GM just needs to tell them to get fucked. And I think that, auto manufacturers, in all honesty, need to file a petition to, no longer have to be a part of the union, because that is what drives up the cost of your new vehicles. You look at a new truck and it's $70,000-$80,000 for a fucking pickup truck. I went in just out of curiosity. I called my dealer up at 1040 Ford in St. Cloud, and just out of shits and giggles, I said, I want to see what it would cost to order something pretty close to what I ordered. Now, mind you, in 2002, I ordered a brand new 1-ton dually pickup. All right. In 2002, my truck, 100% custom ordered Lariat, was $72,000 when it was all said and done. That's Jody, good morning. And I mean, that's everything. That was a custom drive line put in it and the whole 9 yards. Auto workers are anywhere between $50 and $75 an hour, tech, and they got better benefits, better health benefits than most government employees. They have more vacation time. They have the longest vacation time out of any workforce paid vacation time out of any workforce in the United States. They also have a faster pay increase than any other workforce in the United States. Yeah, I'll tell you right now, I love the new trucks, but I have no interest in buying one. Cookie Monster, welcome to the Invasion Nation. Yeah, and that's why the cost of your vehicles are so damn high. The cost of production is extremely high on them. And that's why I won't buy a new one anymore. As much as I seriously considered it, I was sitting down and I literally was about to sign my life away for 7 years on a brand new pickup. And I looked at them. I mean, I had it picked out. I was sitting there. All I had to do was sign the papers. And it was like, what was it? It was $634 a month for 7 years with my truck in trade. And then I was just like, why would I do this? This truck is double what I paid for my house. Double than what I paid for my house. Why would I do that? That's just dumb. Do you realize, okay, I understand that new trucks have some really nice bells and whistles. Do you understand what it costs to actually rebuild an old truck? Take like my 86 or my 84 1-ton. For about $5,000, I could put a brand new motor and tranny in that. Okay, I could spend another $7,000, $7,000 to $10,000 and get the bodywork all redone on it. Spend another $3,000 to $4,000 getting everything else gone through. I'm at about $20,000 for a completely rebuilt 1-ton truck. I mean, that's a 1-ton with a plow on it. And when I mean all the little doodads, that's getting all the new lines replaced, new wiring harness put in it, everything. It's just ridiculous. It's asinine. And the thing is like, if you have to get a loan for a vehicle, the banks force you to buy new shit. The banks force you to. It's like, why would I do this? I asked my banker, I said, why would I do this when I can rebuild? I said, why don't you just give me the loan to rebuild the truck? I mean, I'll get it appraised out higher than when I got into it. But I couldn't get a real answer for that. And they do that on purpose. They say, well, it's to keep the economy moving. I'm not paying $70,000 for a new truck. Not for a half-ton pickup, I'm sure the fuck not. It's just a matter of moral principle. You go get you like an old Power Stroke diesel, like a 7.3 or something like that, or an old 6-liter Power Stroke, or you get the, like the LB7 Duramaxes, or even the like 12 and 24 valve Cummins, and it's like you can completely rebuild these trucks for $25,000, like front to back, completely rebuild them. And you get your money back out of them right away. You completely rebuild a 12-valve Cummins right now, you're going to get every penny you got into it, plus make $5,000 on it. Oh, they've already got people. See, and here's the thing. Now, you've heard of people running cars on hydrogen-powered vehicles. Well, see, the new car industry has combated that. Like you take an older, say you take something like my 86 Ford or my 84 Ford, something like that, and you start adding a hydrogen maker to it. Makes a world of difference in fuel economy in that truck. Okay, makes a world of difference. And guess what? These new vehicles, the computers counteract it. Jerry, good morning. Good to see you. So you want my opinion on the United Auto Workers Union? I don't think they need a raise. I think the auto manufacturers need to say, you know what? This is a privileged job. And it is to work at United Auto Workers is definitely a privileged job. And we're talking it doesn't matter if they're on the assembly lines, it doesn't if they're in the warehouses, whatever part of General Motors there is. The sad part is the guys who actually have to sell these cars are the ones who get shit on the highest. They make the least amount of money. How is it the dealership selling the truck makes less on the truck than the people who are building it? Like the individual person. Yeah, I seriously considered a brand new truck, and then even my wife, she wanted a brand new truck until we went and actually looked at the cost of them. And it's like, no, that's not going to work. Yeah, that don't make a damn bit of sense. I was trying to look up would seem illegal if spelled out to you, and there's a good possibility. I know they have a ton of dealer incentives they get for selling them and things like that, but I still, no matter what the deal is, yeah, and I've got a very good dealership. 1040 Ford has always treated me right. I've bought a few vehicles from them. They've always treated me right. And the thing is when I go in and they're like, I can't go any lower on this thing. Like I went and looked at a Transit Connect van and they're like, I can't go any lower on this. We're not making $1 out of this thing. We're just putting you in it. They said we get, what did he say? He said, if you buy this thing, he said the manufacturer will kick us $1,500 for you buying it. I'm like, damn. But like I said, my biggest issue is the fact that you look at everything in a whole and the way it is when you look at all the stuff, it's just it isn't going to work for me, and it shouldn't work for anybody to spend that kind of money on a vehicle. But the American dream and the keeping up with the Joneses, it makes us constantly want to buy a brand new vehicle, and it's like, why? For people, I mean, honestly, what's my beef with GM workers? I don't have a beef with GM workers. I have a beef with their unions. And that's all of them across the board. The United Auto Workers Union is the biggest fucking scam ever. That's my beef. When it costs between $50 and $75, $50 and $75 an hour for a United Auto Worker to be on the assembly line or working a warehouse or something like that, that's my problem. This is why our vehicles cost so much. When I went and looked at a brand new truck and I was going to pay double what it cost me for my house, and then common sense set in and said, what the fuck are you doing? This truck is a whole nother mortgage payment. And you lose money on it as soon as you sign the deal. It used to be, oh, you lose money as soon as you pull it off the lot. Now you lose money as soon as you sign the ownership papers of it. Why am I mad about it? I'll tell you why I'm mad about it, because I'll be 100% honest with you, Cookie. I'll be 100% honest with you about it, because at the time of the recession, when everybody else was making sacrifices to keep the economy rolling, the United Auto Workers Union told everybody to get fucked. That's why I have a beef with them. They said, nope, you're going to keep paying us. They said it was the auto manufacturers that shut Detroit down and moved manufacturing cars to other countries. No, it was the United Auto Workers Union that caused that. It as far as I'm concerned, they get no sympathy from me, and nor will they ever. Well, what do you got for me, Vapor? Uh, Car and truck shoppers might think that money between the sticker price and the invoice are the sole source of profit for dealers. Guess again, it's not. It's not even the big factor. However, there are a wide range of tools available to dealers to turn a profit. Here's a list of commonly used terms to contribute to bottom line. Invoice when shopping for a new car. This is a great deal. I'm selling the car at invoice. Dealer's cost is not making a nickel on the deal. The dealer may even reveal a what? Holdback. Most automakers use. Oh, this is. You guys can find this on Kelly Blue Book. Check this out. But again, Kelly Blue Book works with dealers, so. I'm not going to read the whole article. B2 Crafts, good morning. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that they do. I have a brother-in-law that works for the dealership in the service department when new vehicles come in. They spend 3 weeks working on those brand new vehicles because some of them are completely messed up. Absolutely. I was Blue Oval certified. I can attest to that. That stuff would come in. Bubba, good morning. Good to see you. I can attest to that. Stuff comes in from the manufacturers, and they're literally at North Country Ford. We had 3 guys whose jobs day in day out was to quote unquote prep new vehicles for sale. That was their deal. My buddy who works for another dealership down in the Twin Cities says, we don't make shit on the new cars. He says used cars are where it's at. This narrow road, I got banned on Twitch and lost my battle, but cannot keep me away. Damn, man. Yeah, I don't know. So far, I haven't tripped any wires. I've been pretty fortunate here on Twitch. Can you expand on the UAW? Can you expand on the UAW when you were part of it in some way or just when it happened? No, I wasn't a part of it. I've got friends who are in the United Auto Workers. Matt Ram, good morning. Good to see you, brother. Thank you, THGB, for the subscription. Welcome to the Invasion Nation. You are family here. Whether you can afford to subscribe or not, we treat everybody like family. Cookie, here. I've never been a part of the United Auto Workers Union outside of being a dealership tech for. I went through all the stuff to get a Blue Oval certified. Was let go because of my criminal background. But honestly, the pay was good. I ain't gonna lie, the pay was really good. But at the same point in time, when you understand, I've got friends who work in warehouses for the UAW, and when you listen and you go through, Steven Crowder actually did a really good video on it too many years ago. But when my issue with the UAW is when this country is hurting, okay, when a lot of unions, a lot of stuff, a lot of people are willing to take, a pay decrease, when unions were willing to take a pay decrease to keep things rolling and help the economy out, the UAW said absolutely not. That is my beef with them. I'm not opposed to people getting what they can get out of a manufacturer, things like that. But when it starts affecting people nationwide, and then you want to blame the auto manufacturers themselves, step up and take credit where credit is due. That is what it's about. Narrow Road, what did you get banned for? Just so I got something in the forefront here. What exactly did they ban you for? Because I wondered about that. I kind of. Oh man. Were you on his channel or was See, I've been invited to sit at his round table, and I'm beginning to see that that's a setup. I'm beginning to see that that's a setup. If you go sit on he's gotten a few guys. They've gotten a few guys off of that round table. Fox, good morning, the OG. What is happening? Good to see you this morning, brother. Make sure you guys check out Fox TV. Does a lot of outdoor streaming. Does some just redneck lure creations and things like that. Yeah, I thought about getting on this round table, but I realized that is just a setup to get guys like me, you, and a few other people knocked off of Twitch. I ain't doing it. I like I tell a lot of people, I'm willing to do a round table here. You want to talk? We'll do it. We'll do it at my house, is what I call it. You come over here to the Invasion Nation, and we'll do a round table, just because of the fact that you're not running the show, because too many people are getting banned because of you. Just like Bad Bunny, she's another one. She's another one that I would love to actually have an intelligent have a conversation with. And yeah. Last few days, I'll be gaming later, unfortunately. Oh, damn. It's so far the only left-leaning guy that I've actually met that is extremely respectful is Touring News, and I haven't seen him on in a while. But Touring News has kind of been he listens to everybody from all sides. I think he leans more right than he thinks he does. But Touring News is definitely, I've sat at a round table with him. Very respectful dude. Touring News, I like talking with him. So, had a wipeout on the front bank. Weed eating yesterday. Ouch. Damn it. You didn't end up with a haircut or something, did you? But yeah, and really that's what it is. I see this as becoming the tactic is getting people it's supposed to rain throughout the week. I think it's supposed to be muggy tomorrow and then rain through the weekend, actually. But yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. We just watch our own bobber over here. And that's the thing is You know, I try to get involved with other channels, people who claim to have an open forum, and that they want to listen to everybody's points of view, but then they don't. They try to, really what they try to do is they try to get you set up, and I've noticed this. Like I was on New Shoes today. Nice. You just keep that truck prettied up for me. Someday I'm going to own that truck. You just keep it prettied up for me. I've never wanted a V10 so bad in my life until I see that truck. That truck is just nice. I've never been a big fan of V10s, but that truck is really, really nice. Ugh. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to a less aggressive tire. As you guys know, I've been running Schaefer's oil. And I've been doing oil changes once every 10,000 miles on my truck. And I I had them test my oil, and literally the only thing that they said is that I should be doing oil changes more often, but didn't have any tests, because the viscosity was down a little bit. I need a 6-lug GM rim, 15 by 10. Anyone have one cheap? I think, wasn't that a factory wheel on the old K5 Blazers? A 15 by 10? I think that was a factory wheel. I'm pretty sure that was. I think that's a factory wheel for a K5 Blazer or GMC Jimmy from like the square body era. Otherwise, they went down to a 15 by 8. I'll have to look and see what it costs to get it. I know I've got them. I just got to know I got to see what it costs to get one shipped to Ohio. Get a burger and oh, of course. I know they were going to try and redo the search and expand the search area today, if I remember reading that correct, for that kid in Redwood Falls. Apparently there was 2 kayakers rescued off of Big Candy Lake too on Monday, if I read that correctly. Apparently their kayaks turned over. Their kayak turned over, and somebody in a pontoon had to go save them. But yeah. No, K5 Blaze, that's just what they called them, was K5s. The K10s were pickup trucks. The way GM rated them is if they were 2-wheel drive, they were C class. So like you'd have the C5 Blazers, which are pretty rare, and then you had the C10 or C10 pickup trucks. The Blazers got the 5 label because the half-ton pickups got the 10 label. So the 2-wheel drive half tons always got the 5-lug bolt pattern, and then 4-wheel drives always got the 6-lug bolt pattern. That's how that always works. Bubba's screaming for a coffee break. I do, but left me for greener pastures. So, yeah, I actually have to. It's bad when I have to explain it to parts stores people, because I've said this 100 times over. When I was growing up, the parts stores guys were retired mechanics, and nowadays it's a, uh, they say, "Oh, parts store professionals," and it's like, really. When I walk in and and I see a new person, I say, "I need spark plugs for my uh 7.3 liter Super Duty. I need plugs, wires, cap, rotor." Now I got to watch out when I say that because now Ford has a 7.3 gas engine. So, uh, see, everybody's having conversations amongst each other and trying to figure it out. I'm getting to the age where my memory is going, ha ha. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, hey, that's why I saved this story. I was like, all right, 20 arrests, 18 charges after 2 downtown robberies. In both the incidences, the victims were beaten by a group of assailants. 18 people ranging from 15 to 27 years old have been charged in relationship to 2 separate robberies in downtown Minneapolis in August, according to Hennepin County's attorney's office. Only one person, 25-year-old Adrian Cooper of Brooklyn Park, has been charged in both incidences, according to authorities. All of those arrests were charged with 1 count of combination of attempting first-degree robbery or first-degree robbery, aiding and abetting first-degree robbery, and third-degree riot. All of these charges, except riot, are felonies, according to officials. The first incident occurred the morning of August 3rd. Minneapolis police received footage of attempted robbery outside of Target Field. The video showed around a dozen people trying to steal a man's phone, beating him, and ripping off his shoes and pants, and then went through his pockets, according to criminal complaints and juvenile petitions. The victim was then jumped on and hit with plant pots and run over by a bicycle, police said. By the last week of August, police said that they had worked hard to identify the perpetrators and had received partial confessions from many of those that they had questions, according to the complaint. Police were also able to identify the victim and speak with him. The second incident occurred in early morning, August 17th, near 5th Street and Hennepin Avenue. The victim told police that he was with friends in a downtown bar, but as he left, he was standing on the corner using his phone when a group surrounded him and tried to take his wallet, according to the complaint. The perpetrators beat the victim unconscious, and he was later diagnosed with a concussion. Officials said that the perpetrator stole his cell phone, keys, and $100 cash. Authorities said his bank notified him that the suspects used his debit card to withdraw $220 from an ATM, according to the complaint. 4 of the suspects in 2 robberies were 15 years old, which means their names and charges are not public, officials said. So, yeah. I don't know if you guys remember that, but this was a group of African American people that went to they thought this was, I don't know if you guys remember last summer when they were telling, because there was kids getting their tablets stolen, people doing snatch and grabs on cell phones, and that's when the news started putting out everybody to keep their cell phones, hidden as much as possible. Try to use a Bluetooth device, keep your phone in your pocket. And yeah, it just got completely vicious. Now, Minneapolis and St. Paul are on a mission to do something about the crime rate ever so soaring in Minneapolis and St. Paul. Minneapolis has requested more officers. St. Paul's requested more officers, but the city council's like, you don't need that many. They're like, really? We're becoming one of the highest crime rated areas in the United States. Are you kidding me? Time to go play with the new. Did you get a quad track tractor now for a new one? All right, everybody. Text got a video for me to show. This is a pretty brutal video, so if you got a sensitive stomach or you got kids, it's probably a good time to have them not be watching. Viewer discretion is advised. This is a surveillance video. And this is why conceal and carry, by the way. And you see videos like this, and they wonder why they can't get behind organizations like Black Lives Matters. Yeah, that shit's ridiculous. Yeah. And it's things like that Black Lives Matters refuses to see and wonder why people, because this is not this is one of the many reasons that people point things out in the community. Why people are saying this isn't going to work for us. This is the kind of stuff people shouldn't have to walk around the community in fear. But I tell you what, if that guy had been trained with a gun, that would have ended that immediately. I bet you, okay, I bet you that feller goes and gets a conceal and carry. Anybody want to put money on it? They just got charged. They were just recently charged with it. I know it's been a long going it's been an ongoing thing for a while. An ongoing investigation. They've gotten everybody identified. Some of them are juveniles, things like that. Yeah. I thought they said they made 20 arrests in it. I'm pretty sure they made close to 20 arrests in the whole thing. Oh, I wouldn't let them keep me in my house. It's more than one thing to get a gun. It's the taking the time, spending the money on the ammunition, getting trained to where you're not scared to whip it out at a moment's notice. Being able to identify the situation. You know, you've got to be able to identify the situation. One of the worst things that happens for gun control is somebody who doesn't know how to handle their gun, somebody who gets scared. 20 arrested, but only 18 charged is what the news said. That's because 2 people were squealing on everybody. The biggest thing is getting trained. Taking the time to get trained. It's one thing to just get the piece of paper. Like me, I grew up with guns. I grew up with guns my entire life. I know how to take care of them. I know how to use them. That kind of stuff. But getting trained to use one, that's the big thing. Because I know lots of people who've gotten beat up carrying a sidearm. Who have been assaulted carrying a sidearm. So, and the thing is some of the best people to train you, believe it or not, law enforcement or former military. They're some of the best guys to train you. And they give you same training they got. That's like the one guy who was walking through, what was it, 2 years ago? He was walking through downtown Detroit, had a AR strapped to his back. And the police tried arresting him for having it. He's like, I got my carry permit right here. Well, you're causing, he says, I don't give a shit. Y'all hadn't caught the people who assaulted me on the street. He says, I'm going to make it known that I carry a gun. Matter of fact, I'm carrying 2 guns. He said, I'm not dealing with this. And it became a huge debate, but guess what? He won. Judge sided with him. Told the district attorney, why are we trying this man when we're not trying the people who assaulted him? He's doing what it takes to protect himself. Guy walks to work every day. Doesn't have a big paying job or anything like that, but he's tired of having to worry about if somebody's going to come up and try and steal his phone or steal his wallet or beat him up or whatever. Just wasn't going to do it anymore. What the hell was his name? Was it Steve Blackman? It was a former MMA fighter, anyways, who was carrying around a samurai sword in California. Was carrying around a samurai sword and said, I'm just not going to let people take advantage of me. He says, the cops don't want to do their job. I've got to protect myself. So, yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is this. People have a natural ability to protect themselves. Okay? people have the natural ability to protect themselves. For tools and weapons and things like that, I don't care. Go in and get a self-defense course. Take a martial arts course. Take something. Especially if you're living in a high crime area. Because Minneapolis Police Department, I mean, people of the community, of course, the news points out that the people of the community are feeling let down by the police department. They're like, what are we supposed to do? Our hands are tied. You know, they were talking about last night on the news that there was a problematic house. A neighborhood watch community met with the police department. There's a problematic house, and the police department's like, we can't do anything about it. We can't evict them. He says if they were served an eviction notice, yeah, we could do something about it. Other than that, we can't do anything. They were at the house 14 times in a month. Guy in Newark, Ohio was harassed 3 times from police for open carry. Won $20 for a $500,000 lawsuit against the department a few years ago. Damn. $20,000. Nice. And I don't know. I have the utmost respect for law enforcement, but sometimes I think they just pick the easy targets instead of dealing with the shit that needs to be dealt with. I really do. And that's a sad state of events. You know, as y'all know, a couple months ago, I got a loud exhaust ticket. Now, mind you, all my local law enforcement around here, most of the law enforcement in the state, all the law enforcement in the state of Minnesota, okay, the state of Minnesota, they understand why I had a loud exhaust. It wasn't because I was trying to be some annoying kid cruising the strip or anything like that. And I go to Wisconsin, and this guy pulls me over. The officer pulls me over in Turtle Lake, Wisconsin. Found out technically I don't have to comply with their law, but the thing is the judge was just going to hammer me with it anyways. The judge told me so over the phone. I said, well, it's nice to know that this is a revenue town, but it really sucks. And here's the thing. The officer that pulled me over, he has, every time I've seen him have somebody pulled over, it's somebody with out-of-state plates. So, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's easier for them to go, and I know law enforcement a lot. I know lots. I have lots of friends in the police department, and I mean, they work their ass, and a lot of them are really forgiving guys. I mean, men and women. You know, it's like this. Just because they pull you over for a broken taillight, a lot of times, as long as you're cool with them, they're just trying to tell you that your taillight's broken. They're not going to give you a ticket. Yeah, I heard about that. How fast did you get hit for? Yeah, you're right, because that's pretty lucky. I know how you drive. The hell were you doing? That's not like you 10 over. Taking my time. Redneck tech support, by the way, has no. He drives everywhere, but has no patience to drive. I mean, seriously, if this guy had like one of them small one-person jets, he'd probably take that everywhere just because he'd get there faster. He doesn't care if he gets there 5-6 hours early. He just, yeah. Hey, if you go to YouTube, actually, you know what? Let me do that for you. Let me show you something here, Tech. You want to talk about performance? Oh, might help if I could type today. World's fastest Tesla. This guy legitimately just did drag week with this car. Most reliable car to do drag week with.
The crowd gathered around the WASPy 1955 Chevrolet Mike Finnegan. His yet to make a run. They had a 4:30 entry to the hotel this morning. On the plus side, made the best run he's ever made in his life in that car yesterday in Leeds class. 852, 161. But that is the story of everybody.
But they got everything out of these things. And this thing has a ludicrous plus mode. It has a ludicrous mode, and then it has a ludicrous plus mode. Look at that. 10 second quarter mile. That is insane. And there's a Tesla out there right now that is dominating the street race circuit right now. So in the 8th, I just want autopilot for efficiency, LOL. Yeah, they have your standard driving modes, your economy mode, things like that. But then they have, and it's all just a huge touchscreen in the center of the car. I've often said it. If they made a Tesla that could do 500 miles a day, if they had a Tesla that would do 500 miles a day, I would have one. I would actually spend the money on one. Why? God, you know how much money I would make then? I'm already addicted to Jericho Creed and Candace Owens. Oh, yeah. Candace Owens is actually getting under some... she's having a hard time getting into some places because they're protesting the snot out of her. They're threatening her safety. So, I could maybe make it on 425. If I split my route up, I could maybe make it on 425. But, we'll see. Clinton, you have a good day, sir. We will catch you on the flip side. Yeah, so it's the ludicrous plus mode is, but it gives you a warning. And it's funny because it gives you a disclaimer that this could wear out the car faster and deplete battery life faster. But then the options are send it and I want my mommy. So if you hit I want my mommy, it brings you back to stock settings. If you hit send it, it goes into ludicrous plus mode. I've been doing some research on these cars. I really like these cars. I know everybody's like, oh, fuck electric cars, but when you're doing what I'm doing, it's nice to know that there could possibly be an option out there. There's some things that I've like I was talking to Matt Ram on the phone the other day, and one of the things that I've never understood is why Toyota has not come out with a 1-ton truck yet, or at least a 3/4 ton. You know, I've not heard anything bad about a Toyota truck. I like my Fusion. I just don't like getting in and out of cars. I don't like the lowrider thing. I don't like dragging. I never have. I don't like dragging my ass on the ground. You know, and I've had some fast cars and I've had some nice cars. I just don't like getting in and out of a car. You know, and honestly, it's you know, it's just minivans. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. I love a minivan. I've always loved vans. Always loved vans. Love vans. Love full-size conversion vans. I drove them in my 20s. I absolutely loved them. Love them, love them, love them. Full-size conversion vans were always comfortable to drive. The tightest turning radius as long as you turn them around in reverse. So, I've owned lots of different vehicles, but at the end of the day, the fuel economy of a car is absolutely phenomenal, but when it comes down to it, choice-wise, I'm always going to drive a truck. All right, Angel, we'll catch you on the flip side. Thanks for stopping in. Greatly appreciate you. I'll be down there one of these days for biscuits and gravy. I promise you that. Yeah, I do. I would love to have another full-size conversion van, but my wife has said no. Oh, I bet. See, I think we should take the King Ranch. I think we should take the King Ranch down to the airport. That's what I think. Or down to the city, so that way I can drive it home. I like that truck. I ain't gonna lie. I never thought I'd like a V6 truck. But I actually like that truck. If I could afford to buy that truck, I would. I'm not going to kill it. Hell, you just had the whole top end redone with them fancy-ass camshafts and everything. I'll just make sure they're good and broke in. I swear. I haven't killed any of my vehicles. My son killed one. He killed my Hyundai, my little station wagon. I love that little car. I hate cars, but that little car would get... You got full coverage. What do you care? Then you can go out and buy a brand new truck. You know, that's an interesting term, Fox. Drive it like you stole it. Because I've stolen a car. And I didn't drive it like there was no tomorrow. I mean, like, I drove it really nice, make sure cops were pulling me over. I just did, you know. Guy owed me money. And that's the only thing. He left the keys in his car, and I took off with his car. Actually, I don't have a problem with the deer running the daytime runs. I haven't had to do well, I don't have any nighttime runs anymore. They cut my contracts in half, so. We're going to have to break our four-wheeler in quick when I get back. Actually, I was talking to Chad about that yesterday. Told him I'd help him out with the break-in period. Asked me if I wanted to help out with that, and I said absolutely. You know, I wouldn't mind going out and riding some trails and getting it broke in. I'm not a thrashing other people's shit kind of guy. I just don't. I don't know. It's always been my thing. I've got some stories about me driving that truck. Normally, when I drive his truck, I drive it like an old lady going down the road. You know what I mean? I when I drive other people's stuff, I'm very, very respectful. And we were on First Street in Wilmer one night, and a guy lined up against us with this Chevy pickup, and I felt like Paul Walker at the moment when Tech looked over at me and told me to get him coming off a stoplight. So I'm like, all right. And I didn't even full throttle it. I was just staying ahead of this dude. And I'm just like, wow. And that's what really made me a fan of an EcoBoost was that moment when I literally walked away from a 6.0 Chevy pickup like it was standing still. Hey, not to change the subject, but we never did hear back from the person who won the contest, did we? No. I talked to her, sent her a message, and told her to let me know when she wanted to make arrangements, and I haven't heard anything since. I don't know what is going on, if something has changed. I mean, the offer still stands for whatever she wants to do. She really wanted somebody just to go take her son out fishing, and I said, that's fine. You know, I'm all for that. You know, we go from shore, do whatever. I know where there's plenty of docks we can stand on and fish and just make a picnic out of it, so... Jody, no. I will tell you no. Handling has a lot to do with tires, has a lot to do with the type of steering system. Some are electronic power steering, some are electric assist, some are just plain old power steering, rack and pinion steering, and some are gearbox. TP175 actually won the contest. So GM made a van. Didn't realize they ever made anything but turds with tires. I will say this, Matt. I will say this in all honesty. I was a fan of the Astro van just because of the fact that they were full frame minivans that you could bolt 350 small blocks into. I was a fan of those. It took quite a bit to get them in there, but you could do it because it came with 4.3 V6s, and they were built just like an S10 Blazer. The all-wheel drive ones were built just like an S10 Blazer. Basically, it was like a Typhoon or anything without the turbo package, so you just put a 350 small block in them. Used to go to the drag strip with a guy who had... an Astrovan with a 350 small block in it, and it didn't matter if he just barely crossed the finish line. He won a trophy because he was in his own class. He was in a minivan class. And then all of a sudden the PT Cruiser GT started coming out, and he started having some competition because them things were fucking quick, and they labeled those as minivans, so that way he couldn't just come up there and win every weekend when they had races. Another Tesla. We like Teslas. Oh. Come on, man. I can show you. In all honesty, there's a shit ton of vehicles that have started on fire. You guys remember the Reliant K cars? The Reliant K cars, God, I don't know how many of those things, when I first started towing, I don't know how many times I towed those things off the road for starting on fire, because the carburetors on them would put too much fuel in them. They would dump way too much fuel and it'd overflow the carburetor and hit the exhaust manifold and start on fire. I towed a lot of those. No, that's part of having electric. I like the height of a van with the room to keep the kids separated. Vans are very expensive to drive. They do not get any type of fuel economy. That's the one thing I hated about the van. If that thing, it wouldn't pass anything, not even a gas station. Olds Bravadas. I replaced a front end in an Olds Bravada, and I can tell you for a fact that that is not fun. The drive shaft goes through the oil pan. I know I had a tractor battery blow up in my face. True story. Working in a shop in the Twin Cities, I had a boss who was always about trying to give kids a chance. So you give them simple tasks like they would, we'd teach them how to do tune-ups and oil changes and things like that. And we'd have to double check their work. One day, this kid gets a task of putting a battery charger on a battery so we could make sure the battery's dead. That the battery was actually a bad battery. And so he puts the battery charger, and I'll never forget it. It was like a 94, 95 Ford Taurus. And all of a sudden I worked in the back bays, and I walked up to the front bay, and I could hear something sizzling. And just as I walked over to this battery, the thing exploded, blew battery acid all over me. That is the most miserable feeling in the world. Because it's not like an instant burn. Okay, it wasn't like an instant burn. It was just all of a sudden my clothes started deteriorating, and I could feel this burning sensation on my skin. I mean, of course I washed everything off immediately. But I didn't think nothing of it. All of a sudden my clothes started deteriorating off of me, and I noticed that he'd put the terminals on the wrong side. Both cables in the car were black. He didn't bother to read the battery where it said, he didn't bother to read the top of the battery. He just threw them on there. And unfortunately, he threw them on there wrong. He guessed wrong. So, now I have an Uplander. Sitting on a huge lithium battery in a crash doesn't sound fun. I don't know. How is it any different than your kids sitting over the top of a fuel tank? A lot of them GM cars that everybody fell in love with, the old Buicks and Oldsmobiles, Chevy Corsicas, Luminas, even a lot of the Ford cars, whatever. The fuel tank used to wrap over the rear axle and sit right underneath the back of the passenger seats. Luce, what's happening? Good to see you. Been a while. Yeah. So, and I mean, just like the old school pickups, the gas tank used to be right behind the driver, or right behind the seat, right behind the bench seat in the truck. 50s and 60s models used to be right behind the back, right behind the seat. But, yeah. All right, everybody, we're up on another coffee break. We're going to take this coffee break, and I'm going to come back for another hour. Y'all got me till 10 o'clock again this morning, provided I don't get a call. Just so y'all know, for Lolly's sake, keep Scooter in your prayers. Yesterday when I ended the show, I went upstairs, and Scooter was having a seizure. So, keep Scooter in your prayers. It was the first one he's ever had. Lolly's kind of freaked out about it. Kind of freaked me out too, because I just don't want to deal with her when that dog dies. So, it was the first one, called the vet. They said there's not a whole lot you can do about it. You got to see if it develops to being a pattern, and seizures got to last around 5 minutes. So we are going to take him in and get some blood work, make sure everything's okay. But yeah, it was it was a pretty scary situation. And then she didn't have her phone with her, so I couldn't get a hold of her at her office for a while. By the time I got a hold of her, I'd already talked to the vet and figured stuff out. So that being said, if you got them, put them up there. Let's see them coffee break emojis. We have not used those in a while. Let's get those up there. To those of you work lurking, checking us out, you are on the Invasion Nation Morning Show with me, Redneck. I greatly appreciate y'all tuning in. And yeah, we'll be back for the last hour of the show. Hoo-yah. Come on, man. Y'all got to fill that screen up faster than that. I know you ain't that slow. Really? Y'all understand that you pay for these things, right? Everybody's just like, fuck that dude. All right, I'm going to go to a coffee break because I want coffee. Y'all do whatever it is that you do. And I'll choke on my own saliva. Why? Because it's a good thing, I guess. So we'll be right back here in a few minutes. Until then, go get you something, use the bathroom, do all that kind of stuff.
Some call me a sinner for the things I've done. Born with a heart of stone, fast with a gun. I'm here to get mine, then I'll leave this town. If you're standing in my way, I'll cut you down. You can't tame.
And welcome back to the Invasion Nation Morning Show, brought to you by Redneck Invasion and me, yours truly, Redneck. Anyways, big shout out to the people that keep this going every day. Mill Pond Salon and Seating downtown in London. We also have the guys over at Romaine Berg, guys and girls at Romaine Berg. Let me not be considered sexist. Thanks to those guys for their huge support, making a difference and everything. Iams Garage and KJ's Quick Stop here in Candy, Ohio. Keep me running every day. Also, don't forget to check us out on social media. We've got Instagram, Facebook, Snatch Chat, all that kind of stuff. YouTube, all that fun stuff. Also, don't forget to make a quick stop at the redneckinvasion.org store. Check us out over there. Get your Redneck Invasion swag. As you guys can see, get it while it's there because it rotates out continually. We work through vendors. We don't print the stuff off ourselves. So when things are discontinued, they're usually gone forever. So, yeah. What do you mean no cussing? What are we talking about? Why did I just get timed out? I don't know. I don't control that stuff. Were you trying to spell all properly and shit? It just isn't like Michigan, guys. That's why, Chris. That's why. Probably heard something like you were a Wolverines fan or something. I was a Wolverines fan in high school.
Oh, yeah!
Oh. So, good morning from France. Okay. Well, welcome to the Invasion Nation Morning Show. Good to have you here. So, as you guys know, the Iran conflict has been heating up. Donald Trump has been doing everything he can to avoid going to war with Iran. As you know, there was drone strikes on the Saudi Arabia oil field. How do you guys feel about it? What do you think? Here's the thing. I think that Democrats are pushing for war. Simply because of the fact that by pushing for war with Iran, that's pretty much political suicide for Donald Trump right now, because one of the things he was classified as is a warmonger. And he's proven himself over and over again that he would rather handle things diplomatically than as opposed to sending the military in and everything. So one of the things that the issue becomes then is how do I feel about Bernie Sanders? What a fucking joke. The guy says Medicare for all, or free health care for everybody, but it's not free. Bernie Sanders' plan is to raise your taxes to 70% of your income. If you manage to save anything out of that 30%, then your states can get you for your state can get you for a 10% wealth tax. Makes a lot of sense. Just makes a fella not want to go to work anymore. Nick, I don't know how, I don't know how that works. It just does that. Like sometimes if you try to do proper things, or if you don't have a space between the period or whatever the case may be, it'll do that. We've experienced that more than once because it thinks you're trying to post a link or a web page or some shit like that. So sorry about that. Nothing I can do about it. The bad thing is I can take that setting off. The problem is then I get every dirt in here trying to spam porn sites and everything else. So fish again. But Bernie Sanders, in my opinion, is just a big joke. I don't know. The guy doesn't have a serious answer for any questions. He's very good at diverting from questions when you ask him how he plans on financing all these plans that he's got. And what I believe with Bernie Sanders coming in what he calls democratic socialism is basically just socialism. And the problem with socialism is you get no innovation. You're too nice of a guy. I morally can't go through with trolling you. Well, I appreciate that. And around here, we treat everybody like family, and everybody's welcome to their opinions here. No, and here's the thing. I'm all for difference of opinions. I like to be an open forum where people can express their opinions. I just ask that you come with an educated opinion, not a CNN opinion. That's all I ask. So, and I know a lot of people around the world, all they have access to is CNN, which really sucks. But it's becoming more and more of a trend where people are going to the internet to get their news. So, Jerry, your screen froze. I'm sorry. I know I'm not the best looking guy in the world, but that tends to happen. I got a face for radio, I tell you that much. But here on Twitch, you've got to be on the camera. No, we tolerate no racism. We tolerate yeah. I was home last week, spent it on Leech Lake. He was actually, he came in here to troll me and then just decided that I was too nice of a guy. Didn't want to troll me. So Matt just told him to change his name and come back in. So. Yeah, that's what Matt told him to do. I'm not clicking a whole lot of buttons here over on this side of the you know, on the zoom and wham side of the computer, because it's not having any issues and I don't want to fuck it up. So everything's been seeming to work pretty good lately. So back to the Iran conflict. Do you guys, and honestly, do you think that Donald Trump, do you think Donald Trump's going to go to war with him? What's for breakfast? Probably. I have a hard time rating Redneck Tech's refrigerator because they do the meal prepping thing, which is actually really cool because once I figured out exactly how it works, the knockoff Captain Crunch. Like, it was really cool because I rated, the last time I was over there, I rated his refrigerator. And I like the Colossal Crunch better anyways. I rated his refrigerator, so they had like chicken and spinach and cheese and all this neat stuff just kind of laid out. And I made me a sandwich when I was over there. And I was like, well, this actually isn't too bad. I couldn't eat it every day, but it wasn't too bad. Here's the thing. My honest concern is I think that going to war right now before an election would be political suicide for Donald Trump. I think that would be the push Democrats need to get him out of office. A lot of people are just tired of the United States having troops spread all over the world, and a lot of people are just tired of it. Colossal Crunch needs to come in with peanut butter. Hey, fuck Iran. Let's talk about Colossal Crunch. Malta meal, get on that shit. We need a peanut butter version. Poking the bear. Well, here's the thing. I think one of the things too is I think Donald Trump is waiting for the United Nations to get involved. Because if the UN gets involved, then it's not quite a big of a deal, But it's America's got to quit being the first ones in. I think that's kind of where everybody's at. Oh yeah. And I think the thing is Iran as a country is just kind of collapsing in and of itself, in my opinion. I think that they're desperate, because one thing that definitely happens is after a country gets its ass handed to it, then everybody's bringing relief to that country to rebuild it, and it's like, well, I don't know. Here's my question. With all the technology that's out there, especially with the stuff that we've got sitting out there, how did they not shoot down? We just had a big deal where they were shooting down drones. How the fuck did these drones get across there to shoot this down? October 10th, 2020. Save the date. Wow. Fall wedding. Cool. Are you guys doing an outdoor wedding? Or are you gonna do an indoor wedding? What are you doing? Let's talk about this. I want to know about this. We want to know. We want to know. Now that you put it out there, we want to know. Urgh. So should I show up in my camo hunting gear? Are you doing the wedding and the reception there? Or are you just going to do the wedding there and then do a reception at your house? Both up there. Okay. Well, that's good. That means I can take the mud truck off the trailer at your house and drive it there. How'd you like that? I usually don't televise weddings just because it's kind of uh, a personal moment for their friends and family, and I don't like to get people. A lot of people are really uncomfortable around cameras, so just like I was at the Whiskerdoodle wedding last weekend, you'll see that I didn't post any of it on social media because that's their private and moment with them and their families and stuff like that. I typically don't live stream or do anything with those just because it's a private deal. So, and even if they said it's okay, I have a personal moral thing for that. So, hate to run, but I need to get cleaned up for a doctor appointment. Oh no, go in there just smelling like straight from Monday cheese. Go out and catch about a dozen fish and just kind of wipe them all over yourself. I'm telling you, the look on the doctor's face is worth $1 million. Just do it. Do it. Just do it. Chris, just do it. Oh. I'm telling you. You won't believe me, but I have done it. Do it. I'm telling you, the reaction is worth $1 million. My daughter would kill me. I remember doing it for one time for my DOT physical, and I walked into the doctor and I was like, I'm here for my DOT physical, and I've got a good relationship. I get it done at my chiropractor's office, and I walked in there and Doc says, damn, man, you ever heard of a shower? Like, what? He's like, man, you ever heard of a shower? He's like, you stink. I don't like. Oh, my bad. I said I kind of did it on purpose just to get your reaction. He says, "Well, I hope you got the reaction you want." Yeah, blame it on me. Either that, or you get that fart sound app on your phone, where it's got all the different types of farts, and just be sitting in the waiting room and hit that son of a bitch. It's great. Chris is like, nope. I'm not willing to walk into that lion's den, Redneck. I'm willing to do some crazy ass shit, but that ain't one of them, and I don't blame you. It's 7 months? Hell no. No. Nope. I don't blame you. Ugh. Hey, Chris. Oh, you're leaving. Anyways, I was going to ask you whatever happened to that shit-stained nephew of yours. Uh, the, oh. So, what have we decided? Balto Meal needs to come out with a peanut butter version of Colossal Crunch. Yeah. Why women are pleasant when they're pregnant. Oh, bullshit. The hell are you lying to? It's a good story. It's yours. I'll let you tell it, but I know better. The so one of the other things that's been going on locally is I don't know, maybe Marv Calvin listens to my show because I'm always bitching about the roads in Wilmer, and he wants all these new city projects. He wants to, and maybe he's listening because I noticed they've been doing a little more road work this year. But still, some of the worst roads in Wilmer they have yet to touch. But I think all those should be fixed before they even think about building new shit. Like they want to add stuff to Robbins Island, and they want to do this and they want to do that. Well, no, why don't you fix the roads first? I should not be able to go down a city street and know where there's off-road trails that are nicer than the city streets I'm driving down. Muskie Fisher, not my girl. She's a freaking nightmare. My daughter-in-law becomes evil, and my daughter becomes a big mouth. J. Joe, what's happening? Good morning. Yeah, there's I don't know. There are some there. Listen, every person is different, but there's certain traits that just happen when some pregnant women are they're absolute sweethearts when you get around them, but then you're around them all day long, and it's like, oh yeah, yeah, let's just go back to just hanging out once in a while. You know what I mean? Candy Mall needs to fix their damn parking lot. Well, see, that's private owned. Get a hold of Deb Shriver. She's part owner of that. She'll probably take care of that about as well as she takes care of the residents that live under her roofs. But they want the new city hall to be in the Candy Mall. Figure that one out. Oh, that's right, because the city would pay for a new parking lot. But just so you know, I mean, contact Deb Shriver. She's part owner of that project, so get a hold of her. She'd love to hear from you. Just tell her you're part of the Invasion Nation. She loves us. And the thing is she has the chance to be the rock star. You know, and I've said this 100 times over. Just like the prosecuting attorney over in Renville County. That has 100% chance to be a rock star and chooses not to be. I mean, when they go to court and the prosecuting attorney tells the victims' families that he doesn't represent them. Well, yes, you do. You represent the state of Minnesota, and they're tax-paying citizens of the state of Minnesota. You fucking right you represent them, you asshole. What a dick. The end of the month. Got to be open for Christmas shopping. If anybody's feeling rich and wants to buy Redneck a Christmas present this year, I need two things. I don't need them. I just want them. Christmas is supposed to be about wants, not needs, is what my mother-in-law keeps telling me. So I want a four-wheeler, you know, like 700 cc's or bigger. I want a four-wheeler, and I want a bed slide for the back of my truck. So, 99 days until Christmas. Bed slide's about $1,200. Four-wheeler sets you back, I don't know, $7,000. So when one of y'all win the lottery, a couple of things. And they got a new style LED headlight for my truck that I'd like to have. Those are about $200. And if you're feeling really froggy, you can just go get me a Shelby Edition F350. Those are pretty cool. Lifetime supply of postage stamps. Oh, yeah. I need, actually, you know what? I won't be greedy. I'll just take a Ford Transit Connect van over everything. You know, 24 grand. Y'all got that, right? Y'all got that. $24,000. Right? Y'all got that. But I don't want the cheap one. I don't want the stripped out one like they give everybody else. I want the one that's got the zoom zooms and wham whams in it, the XLT version. Who would come to Jackpot if we set something up like a Saturday night? Me and Lolly might. We haven't been, I need to take her out to some place like that. Sit at the penny slots all night. I don't know, maybe, well, see, I got TwitchCon next week. At those of you, by the way, thank you all for your help in getting there. Got TwitchCon next week, and then I get to ride back. Do you believe that Redneck Tech is going to leave me on a plane by myself? I do believe he's not understanding what he's doing. Sometimes it's hard for me to read some of this shit. All right, Bubba, come on in with it then.
Subway 100,
them
Subway
dirt road
100, Subway 100, Subway 100, Subway 100, bonus 50.
I wonder why it's not throwing the sandwiches in the cup. That's weird. Yeah, it's not putting the Subways in the cup. We have a glitch with the cup. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it.
Making them dirt road dollars. Way out yonder, having them holler.
Everything was working flawlessly. And now the cup is just not working. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. Thanks, Bubba.
Making them dirt road dollars. Way out yonder, having them holler.
Cup's just glitching. Wonder what its problem is. So, in other news, how about the Vikings? Any of y'all watch the Vikings game over the weekend? What'd you think of that? Oh, no. Asshole. Asshole. Oh. All right, Jared, thank you.
Making them dirt road dollars. Way out yonder, having them holler.
Yeah, I wonder, So, anyways, as you guys know, the Vikings were getting, maybe drop a pinch of snuff. Well, my mom, you know, your mom knows she's got a redneck for a son when she goes to a state where chewing tobacco is cheap. But she got me this Copenhagen long cut. And I usually do the Copenhagen long cut straight. And I don't know, there's just something funky with the flavor in this that I've never liked. I don't know what it is, but because my mom got it, I'm going to use it. Go Pack. What the fuck? Chad, you know I like you, right? A little bit. And then you got to Go Pack. Does anybody know? Hey, I mean that. I'm right there with you, Fox. That's my favorite brand there. I got KJ's. They're carrying that for me now. So. Aaron Rodgers' sleep number is 55. Does anybody know why Vikings jerseys are purple? Anybody? Anybody know why Vikings jerseys are purple? Anybody got that? Because they're always choking. Never fails. I used to be a really big Vikings fan until they told me that they were going to target tax my tobacco to build them a new stadium and training facility. After that, they got a big FU from me. So, I don't I don't buy their memorabilia. I don't buy anything that has a Vikings logo on it. I don't buy anything that has an NFL logo on it. Nothing. And I know my one little rebellion doesn't make a damn bit of difference to them, but you know what? I don't care. Whereas in the Packers, everything's voted on by the community if they agree with it. That's what it is. But yeah, I don't agree with that. I'm tired of target taxing tobacco users constantly. Apparently now they're saying that vaping is causing deaths. From what I understand, vaping in and of itself is not causing deaths. What it's causing deaths is people buying these black market vape pens and fluids to put in them. They're buying this black market stuff that's not coming from an authorized dealer, and it's got vitamin B supplement in it. I believe it is, or vitamin E, one of the two. It's got some type of vitamin supplement in it that is causing lung disease, and it's killing people. And the thing is they, of course, news wants to report it as it's all vapes, and it's not. The actual vapes that are vitamin E, thank you. The actual vape companies that are legit they haven't had a single issue. Travis, good morning, good to see you, brother. They haven't had a single issue. It's the people who are buying all the aftermarket, black market stuff to do these things. Like the guys, like the battery packs exploding. People were talking about battery packs exploding, but you ask them the brand that's on the battery pack, and it's not one that's made by a main manufacturer. It's an off-market one. Now, I'm not a vaping fan. I actually think they're fucking ridiculous. You ask anybody who's vaped around me, and I tell them it looks like they're sucking on it. Never mind. But the thing is all the legitimate market stuff they have not had an issue with. But the news is not going to tell you that. The news isn't going to tell you any of that. The news refuses to report it in truth. I'm going to tell you the truth here. I'm not a fan of it. I think they're ridiculous. These people who get these big, huge, blow out these huge clouds right around everybody. Yovin is going good. What is shaking? Good to see you. And the thing is okay, I understand it. I get it, but here's the thing. I don't believe that the government is and especially mainstream media is not putting out the information on this properly. I know people have been doing this stuff for years and have never had a problem, don't have any health issues, nothing. Not a single solitary issue. All right, Bubba, you keep it between the ditches, man. Stay safe.
Oh, yeah!
Actually steak, huh? Oh, but this is my thing. And of course they're going after companies like Juul because they have grape flavored or strawberry flavored or whatever, and that they feel like they're marketing to the younger generation. They say secondhand smoke kills, so I chose firsthand, so I'll live longer. And here's the thing. These kinds of things, like cancer and stuff like that, it depends on the person. I mean, how many of us know, like, older folks who have been smoking for 80 years or 50 years or 60 years have never had an issue? Like when I go to the dentist or I go to the doctor, they can't tell I chew unless I tell them. They're like, oh, well, it causes lip cancer. Well, no, the only time that they found that chewing tobacco causes lip cancer, this is what they don't tell you in school. The only time they have found that where people with chewing tobacco have any problems with any type of lip cancer are the people who smoke and chew at the same time. Yoan, you are absolutely correct in that. people tend to vape harder than they were smoking. That's honestly, actually, I never watched PewDiePie. I don't know. The only thing I know of PewDiePie is when the terrorist over in New Zealand mentioned his name. That was the most I'd ever heard of him. I don't know anything about him. So, and just like now, this whole here's the thing. Again, I tell you guys, this. In all honesty, in truth and honesty, okay, when it comes to the way media perpetrates stuff, and I tell you guys this stuff all the time, they don't put everything out there. You have to do your research on top of it. Okay, when the media says, "Oh my God, vaping is causing lung disease," we'll find out what it is that's causing it. Because if this is the case, because they've had what 2 or 3 instances now, and every one of them has been by tainted vape juice. I mean, seriously. You know, and here's the other thing, what you don't understand is everybody's like, oh, this vaping bill is going to be good. But they're going after hand-rolled cigars, which is pure tobacco. You know, pure tobacco's never caused any problems with anybody, and most of them are hand-rolled in local mom and pop shops. They don't have any chemicals. They're pure. They're pure tobacco. But now they're going after them. You know who that benefits? Large tobacco products. Large tobacco. When you put the little guys out of business, that benefits them. You know, and I think that's one fight that Donald Trump should have stayed out of. So, Trump is funny, yo. Why is Trump funny? I think he's hilarious the way he calls people out. I think it's funny because he causes people to be on point with their shit. He walks into a room and they're like, yeah, we better make sure all our shit's clear. Oh, yeah. That is one thing that I think Donald Trump should have stayed a ways away from. I think he should have stayed away from that fucking thing. I think that that's his former Democrat side coming out of him. Just like back when tobacco prices went way up through the roof and all my buddies started going to hand-rolled cigarettes or doing the roll-your-own cigarettes, stuff like that. They're like, oh, it's so much cheaper. I said, how's it cheaper when you're smoking 3 times as much as you were before? Here's what I don't like. I don't like the fact that they keep raising ages to 21, but you tell a 17-year-old kid he can sign up delayed entry to go fight for this country. I don't like that. If that's the case, make the minimum requirement age for recruiting 21 then. All right, Fox, we'll catch you on the flip side. I don't think vaping should be allowed in businesses. Jody, here's my thing. I believe it should be the business owner's choice. I don't think the government should have a right to tell business owners how to operate their business as far as that goes. They're public places, but, you know, it's completely up to the business owner. Because you know what I hate doing? I hate walking into a restaurant, walking through a crowd of people who are out there having cigarettes or vaping, trying to walk through them all and having to smell that shit before I walk in to eat. You know, I don't like it. You know, but the thing is I choose to eat there, and that's where their designated smoking section is right outside the door. So what do you do? Now I know at some places like down in the cities they've created a back patio for smoking. They have heaters and things like that out there. But I know here in Wilmer that's not so much the case. I think Zorba's and Spicer is one of those few places. But it should be the business owner's choice, not the government. I'm for less government regulation, 100%. I think the government needs to mind their own fucking business. They need to quit stealing money from the people. And if a business chooses to allow smoking in there or vaping in there and you don't like it, don't be a patron of there or express your concerns to the management. Let it be the business owner's choice, not the government's choice. You know, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I remember when there was smoking allowed in restaurants, and they had them split up. You had the smoking section, which was way in the back, and there was a well ventilated area, and you could be in the non-smoking section. I don't ever remember smoking or seeing, having smoke come interfere with my meal. I don't ever remember smelling it, anything like that. I remember lots. I mean, I used to go to Denny's in Coon Rapids quite a bit. It was just kind of where a lot of tow truck drivers went, and a lot of people went there, and that was the thing. It was well ventilated. They had one of them fancy filter things hanging from the ceiling, a couple of them hanging there, and you never smelt it in the non-smoking section ever. You knew it was a smoking section because the ceilings were all yellow and everything else, and they change them out once a year. But yeah, I think the government having choice in it, I think is just wrong. Breaking news: to oppose the Trump law, Bernie tried to vape outside the White House. Unfortunately, he dies. Sad face. Nice. You got Bernie Sanders trying to vape outside the White House, and you've got Joe Biden out fighting a box of cereal. Fighting old corn pops. Oh. And that's what it is. That's the thing. People are so used to, they don't want to fight for anything until it actually affects them. They're not realizing the fact that they're giving up their choices. They're giving up their freedom of choice by allowing the government to do this. I remember when they put the smoking ban in Minnesota, a bar in Minneapolis had figured out a way around that because of the improv law. And they did a really smart thing. They had the improv law, and basically it said as long as you had a script in front of you, or you could read from the script, and all the scripts, everybody had a cigarette in their hand, they got away with it for a long time. And finally, of course, the government gets in there and shuts them down. Not the fact that this bar was packed solid full of people who smoked, but the government went and shut them down. Just like me, I don't like smelling the shit when I walk in, but I choose to eat there. I could choose not to eat there. I could voice a complaint and say, hey, listen, you need to make a separate smoking section, or I'm not coming back there. I have every right to say that and not attend that business anymore. But it is what it is. My job allows me to smoke inside my cubicle. John, you're absolutely right. Government involvement in child discipline. You know, every government program starts out with good intentions. The problem is the government doesn't know how to regulate it. It's like this. We'll talk about, yesterday we watched Chaska High School and their programs to try and stop racial tensions. Turns out it's just it's a program to put more money in certain people's pockets is all it's doing. And then when you talk about, I remember schools when I was going to school, they were just starting this big, if your parents spank you, you're supposed to come tell us. So I remember the first time I cussed in the house and my mom put soap in my mouth. I went and told the school and said she was trying to poison me. She put soap in my mouth. My principal looked at me and said, "You talk to me like that, I'm going to walk you down to the bathroom and put soap in your mouth." But she called my mom, told my mom what I said. So you know what my mom did? Tabasco sauce. Pretty smart shit. Started putting Tabasco sauce in my mouth. So, oh man. I suppose I should see who's online. Let's see if we can't raid somebody today. I hope you guys enjoyed that country boy life. Oh, somebody tried calling me. Oh, telemarketer. Imagine that. I love telemarketers. All right, guys, I'm going to leave this choice up to you. We got Shane and Jackie Adventures, and we've got that Country Boy Life. Who do you guys want to go raid today? I'm going to let the Invasion Nation decide. Who do we want to raid today? I don't think Demon Machine is on right now, actually. Australia's just doing, he's just playing, maybe he's not. But he's usually getting off right about now, typically. Well, Tex, since you're on here, why don't you set us up for Australia's fishing then? Oh yeah, he's got some neat little emoji dudes going on in there. Why don't we do that? Why don't we go raid him? I want to see how many more little emoji dudes we can get in there. Australia's fishing. He changed his whole setup. All right, guys, you know the business. Blow it up as soon as we get in there. Let them know that we're there. Till then, y'all keep them cold, keep the bottoms up, and I will see you tomorrow morning.
Jesus! Redneck Invasion, how are you, brother? Welcome to the stream. Can we please have a shout out for Redneck Invasion, please, mods? Bubba K, welcome to the Australis Fishing and Gaming family, mate. How are you? Redneck Tech Support, how are you, mate? Hey? I'm just setting up the new PS4. The kind members of the community, Cheddar 1971, thanks man, the kind members of the community donated some money and doing the right thing. What I'm doing is I am